They're the best huckers, markers, and handlers in the business, and they've gathered in the great Northwest to determine the ultimate champion. In Ultimate, hundreds of colleges, big and small, start the year with the dream of making it to the national championship tournament. Only 4 teams remain. Who will be the next national title holder? Find out as College Sports Television presents the 2004 UPA College Ultimate Championships next. One of the most dramatic skylines in all of America, that of Seattle, Washington. We have ventured just outside this city to the Skagit River Park in Burlington, Washington for semifinal action of the 2004 UPA College Ultimate Championships. The number 3 Stanford Bloodthirsty against the number 2 Colorado Mama Bird. Craig Hummer along with former College Ultimate standout Ben Wiggins. And Ben, let's take a look at this format. 70-yard field with 25-yard end zones, 7 players on each side.
Easy game to learn, Craig. Throw it to a teammate in the end zone, score a point.
One unique aspect of the game, it is self-officiating. Let's hear from the coaches.
My name's Dan Maidenberg. I'm the coach of the Stanford Men's Bloodthirsty Ultimate Team. 2 guys you're going to want to look out for today are Josh Weissman, number 6. He's got blazing speed on the offensive end, and he'll beat you deep a couple times. In terms of defense, you want to look for Brandon Hyde, number 20. He's really the heart and soul of our defensive unit. He goes everywhere. He'll lay out block or he'll jump and sky people, and he just gets more pumped up than anyone else out in the field.
Hi, I'm Cat Wilson, head coach of the University of Colorado men's team. We're glad to be back at UPA Nationals and in the semis for the 2nd straight year. 2 players to watch this game are number 20, Joshua Ackley, aka Richter. He's the best short big man in the game. He's a huge receiver for us. Another player to watch is number 2, Colin Gottlieb, aka JV. He's been a rock on this team for 4 years. These guys are going to tear it up.
Taking a look at the weather, low 60s is the temperature. You can see the clouds. There is rain and a good chance of it in the forecast. The Stanford lineup, you heard the coach mention Josh Weissman. Interesting to note that Brandon Hyde is not in there at the start because he is a defensive specialist. The Drums of Colorado and their starting lineup. You see Gottlieb is in there, as is Josh Ackley. Interesting to note the freshman, the tall boy, Bo Kittredge, will be in there as well. Ben, what do you look for as the keys to the game?
Stanford's going to have to contain the height of Colorado and make them keep it low and slow.
Much like a kickoff in football, it is called a pull to start the game here. Stanford with the disc. Stanford will be in white, Colorado in the black, Ben.
Stanford comes out in a spread formation right away, tosses it to the end zone.
Well, right there we have our first self-officiating, both talking about whether or not that was an infraction.
It looks like the defender came into the offensive player as he's set to go up. We'll see what the call is made.
We talked a little bit about this earlier, Ben, where disc and ultimate, it's self-officiating. There is an observer on the field that will assist in call making, but it really is up to the players, isn't it?
Yeah, both those players agree that a do-over is the best strategy there, and so it's going back to the thrower. Stanford gets another try.
Well, the call was interference or contact in the end zone, but as you said, they both agreed to take it back to the point, the original point, and play resumes from there. Great movement of the disc for Stanford right now. Oh, and they're going for it. Oh, tried to lay out on the D, but they score the point.
He'll be disappointed not to have that one back. Made a great bid at the disc, got everything he wanted, just couldn't get the disc to hit the ground.
Stanford, aptly named Bloodthirsty, they draw first blood. Here's another look, Ben.
Oh, he went with a chop technique. The young guy's going to learn that you want to go out straight to the disc, try to get out of bounds as quickly as possible.
That young guy you mentioned, Bo Kittredge, the freshman, he's got all the physical attributes, but you mentioned also he's going to have to learn some techniques, isn't he?
He sure is. With his big body, though, it's only going to be a matter of time. Stanford's first D possession, they're going to come down and try to make an impression while at the same time figuring out what Colorado wants to do with the disc.
Speaking of figuring things out, how quickly do these guys, is there scouting that goes on? I mean, will they watch other games that these teams that they know they're going to play are in because they want to try to figure the defenses and figure out the schemes?
Oh, absolutely, to the point where they know individual matchups. One of the hardest things is often watching such a good offense over and over be successful and then pumping yourself up knowing that you're going to be successful against it.
And Ben, that last stoppage that we saw, that was Zach Wyatt from Stanford. He called excessive steps, or basically traveling on Parker Krug, meaning he thought he took a few more steps than he needed to stop his momentum.
Yeah, little violation, but it can get the handler a big advantage.
Right now, great pressure there.
Just went outside his bounds and got a foul on the thrower. He's going to give him another chance. It's unfortunate because they had the offense stopped.
After the reset once again, sets it back into the middle of the field.
Yeah, Colorado's in a spread formation here to try to open up space for their fast runners downfield.
They go with a little dump right there, trying to open up the options. Oh, there we go. Wait, was he in? We're going to see. They're not calling him in, Ben, so he will have to toe the line, so to speak. Great chance for Colorado to score here.
This should be an easy goal. He's got to find a way to punch it in, but the correct call was made. He was not in.
A mistake by Bo Kittredge. That was costly right there for Colorado. We take another look back at the earlier throw. Was he in?
Oh, and you can see right there, first foot not in on the line. He's going to have to go that last inch. This could be costly if the defense of Stanford can punch it in.
Well, Kittredge now has a couple early mistakes, Ben. Is this just jitters, or is this just, he needs to learn a little bit more?
Well, at this point in the season, there really are no freshmen. They've played so many tournaments. But early in the game, you give up those kind of easy opportunities, it'll come back and haunt you at 14-14.
Game is to 15, have to win by 2. Oh, forehand outside in. Stanford all of a sudden, Ben, quick 2 points. They're up.
Yeah, defense is being really aggressive with the disc, and that's definitely how you want to attack the offensive team of Colorado. Go right at their handlers deep.
We see another look there. You see the forehand flick. Great arc over all the defenders. Open man.
Skilled player, James Herbert. He's really going to look for that end zone.
The huck by Stanford gives them an early advantage, and with the timeout, it's time for the coaches to give some instruction.
They're just going to look to float that break every time. They're just going to put it up on the break side. It's just going to hang there. They're going to trust that their guy gets there before you do.
Welcome back to Skagit River Park, just outside Seattle in the 2004 UPA College Ultimate Championships. We are in the midst of a semifinal match between Stanford and Colorado. Ben, let's take a look at how Stanford got here.
Stanford's depth has allowed them to stay fast all weekend when other teams drop off.
Well, the top 16 teams in the country make it into the tournament, and their pool play determines who will advance into the quarterfinals. Stanford undefeated so far in the tournament. They go up against a very impressive Colorado squad. Colorado
got sweet revenge in the quarters, beating Wisconsin, the team that took them out in the semis of last year's championship.
As we take a look at the brackets, you mentioned that Colorado-Wisconsin game. Stanford, though, crushed UCSD, but UCSD a very good team.
Yeah, San Diego came in as one of the lowest seeds ever to advance to quarters.
Some Mama Bird fans, maybe they are the Mama Chicks. What exactly is a Mama Bird?
I have no idea, Craig.
We'll try to find that out for everybody later on. Back to action. We mentioned those quick points by Stanford. They have a 2-0 lead. There they started off with a pull. It goes out of bounds. Now what's the recourse?
Colorado's going to bring it in at the brick mark, 20 yards up the field in the center of the field. Stanford here is probably going to change defenses, try to give Colorado a different look early in the game, keep them thinking.
Well, Colorado definitely has to do something to try to get on the board. Momentum, as in any sport, very important. It's all with Stanford at the moment.
There they go for a big shot downfield to their man Richter, and D'd by Brandon Hyde.
Crowd always loves to see that, don't they, when they see a great D play, defensive play, critical, as in, again, most sports. You look at basketball, any of these sports that you can compare ultimate to, defense wins championships, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Stanford especially is built on defense. They're going to try to make you work for every single yard of the field. And they give it right back. JV comes in with a sweet little poach D, and Colorado's right at the end zone.
Well, you mentioned JV. That's Colin Gottlieb, number 2. Why the nickname JV?
I think they're trying to keep him down a little bit. Can't let him get too big of a head and think he's on varsity.
Well, the family's pretty darn good at disc, though. His brother has already won a national championship at Carleton. So if he were to win one here for Colorado, they'd be the first, I think, brother pair to win championships, wouldn't they?
That's right. JV looking right for the end zone. Oh, squeezes it in between 2 defenders, and they get an easy score. Lucky to get that one. A nice poach attempt by Stanford. Stanford's got to be happy with the chance they got on D there.
Well, you're right. They went for the D. A little miscommunication. Colorado, gets on the board. Now down only by 1.
It goes off the line. Offside guy gets the ball upfield. Run the offense.
I tell you what, Ben, usually when your team scores, the coach is happy about it, but Cat Wilson didn't like something there, did he?
Well, they didn't score cleanly, but even so, at this point in the game, any goal you score is going to be good enough to get you on the board. It is a little bit tight for my taste right now.
Cat Wilson prowling the sidelines, just looking for a victim. He is upset about something. His team, Colorado, about to pull the disc.
Here comes the defense for their second attempt at Stanford's O. They're going to come down and try to stop this Stanford spread formation. You can see all the Stanford players are bunched to one side, and sure enough, Colorado's in a zone defense.
Well, Ben, to use the football comparison again, obviously if you get the ball in the end zone, it goes out to the 20-yard line. Here, you play out of the end zone where you actually got the disc. So because of that long, high throw, it forced Stanford way back, didn't it?
And you can see right there a quick turnover. They were just trying to get the disc out of the end zone at least. And right now they're looking at a 5-yard possession for Colorado.
The force certainly on, right on the line here. This is another one of those must-score opportunities, and they do it. We're tied at 2.
Freshman to freshman, Bo looks like he's got some skill. Nice little forehand out into space. Definitely not the same tight look we saw in the last end zone possession. Colorado's looking much better.
The fans of Mama Bird, definitely something to cheer about right now. I love my mama. Another look at that great play.
Nice and easy, good release and extension, and Julian's wide open.
Dahl comes from one of the best high school ultimate programs in the country. That's Paideia High School in Decatur, Georgia. Colorado evens up the score. You know, earlier we talked about Colorado getting revenge against that Wisconsin team this year, and here's last year's game, which is the reason why.
Last year, nobody thought anything of us. We came in as a 10 seed, and winning pre-quarters and quarters was one of the greatest feelings I've ever had.
We had 3 breaks! Let's go!
And even going up at half against Wisconsin, you know, we felt like we could have won that game.
Down at half, Wisconsin used incredible defensive plays like this one from Rodrigo to take the game 15-12 and go on to be national champions.
Mentioned the national championship, Ben. I think you're leaving a little something out of the story, aren't you?
Yeah, Wisconsin went on to beat a cocky group of upstarts in that final. Nobody really knows where they came from, but evidently they were pretty good too.
I'd say so. You were on that Oregon team. Unfortunately, you lost 15-8 in the final, but a pretty good season, especially for you being the Callahan Award winner, the MVP award winner. And look at this. What a great huck. Almost a score there.
Colorado player really uses his body nicely, gets into the space of the receiver, and is able to go up and seal him out for the D. This could be a big turn of events for Colorado if they can score this one.
Pokey Hunt with the poke. The senior 6'1", using his height to his advantage. Colorado on offense.
They're using Bo as an instant out. He has to be back because he's so athletic, so they're able to get him for easy in cuts.
Move it back to the middle of the field.
There they come. They look a little bit stuck here. Oh, that's a nice break mark air bounce to get it out of trouble. And JV is going all the way right now. Up for the grab.
What a play right there. Textbook Sky. The guy known as Bizarro comes down big, Ben.
Yeah, Gottlieb is either looking for a spot up in the air to throw to a mismatch here, or maybe he just floated it too much.
Keith Hunziker brings it down. A major swing in momentum. Colorado was down 2-0. They score 3 quick points. When we come back, we get an ultimate tutorial. Don't go away. Welcome back to the 2004 UPA College Ultimate Championships. Craig Hummer along with Ben Wiggins. The crowd is into this semifinal match between Stanford and Colorado. While we were away, some points were scored, Ben.
Stanford scores pretty easily to tie it back up in threes, and then Colorado comes right back and is establishing the long game, going to Chicken Simon deep for a score here. Just routine for that hunt. And then on the next play, they get a deep point, and they're going Ackley to Kittredge. We're going to see that again, I bet. Little bunny hop in the end zone.
Back to the action. Colorado a 5-3 lead. A great pull right there. And immediately Stanford into their offense.
There's a forehand shot down the line, really looking right away to go deep. And now it's got to finish the play. Nice leading throw. Goal.
With the pancake catch, Stanford does a great job to win back some of that momentum.
Colorado will be disappointed to give up such an easy goal, but against a good time like this, they're not going to score every time after 6 passes. Sometimes it's only going to take 2 or 3.
One of the first times in this game we've seen a real flow, and you can bet Cat Wilson isn't happy.
That's the way. Oh, they f***ing hunk his forehand. I just f***ing told you that. Come on, pick your heads up.
Cat Wilson a bit animated. Well, that's one way to tell your guys how to play Ultimate better. I think maybe we should take a kindler, gentler approach on how to play the game.
Hi, I'm Andy Vallon. This is Ariel Santos. We're both handlers for the Tufts E-Men from Tufts University. We're going to demonstrate some throws today. We're going to show you the flick, the backhand, the hammer, the scuba. Right now I'm going to show you the flick. You want to hold it tight in here. It's used for short throws, used for long throws, all different types of throws. You want to hold it really tight. You want to have that full range of motion with your wrist. A lot of people beginning like to hold it out like this. It kind of gives them more stability and things like that, but it's harder to throw the longer throws. So when you're throwing those longer throws, you want to get it a good grip in tight like this. You want to step out and you just want to put it.
I'm going to show you the backhand. The backhand is pretty much the same thing as the flick, except on the other side of your body. You're going to hold it like this with the thumb on the top and with your fingers across the back like this. Some people like to hold it with a finger like this. But the main important thing is to hold it very tight and to give it a lot of spin. You step out, get low, and smash it.
I'm going to be now showing the hammer. It's held pretty much with the same grip as the flick. It's used a lot in the zone. It's used kind of break the mark. It goes over top. It flies upside down unlike some of the other throws. And you just use it to throw over the people.
I'm going to show you the scuba now. The scuba is held the same way as the flick, except it's upside down. It starts all the way from upside down as opposed to the hammer that starts like this. It's really for short throws. You just want to get it over the cup and over the defenders that are in front of you. So you just go like this, release it from up high, and pop it over the heads.
There are a million more combos, but those are the 4 basic throws of Ultimate.
Good advice all. What they neglect to say is that you're going to have to spend some hours if you really want to be able to throw like these guys.
Hours indeed. You're the master of understatement, partner, right there. The pull, Colorado with a 1-point lead and the disc.
1-point lead. They're up 2 break points, though. Their defense is definitely holding their own against Stanford. Here they come in a spread formation going through Ackley again.
Nice little backhand right there to the dump position. There's the flick that we just saw demonstrated.
Up the gut again from Parker. Looks like a D, but I bet, yep, it's coming back. Foul on the mark again. The mark needs to back off and let his downfield defenders do some damage.
And by mark, I should describe it as, for the layman, that is just the defender that's right on the person with the disc trying to throw.
Exactly. They're trying to contain a part of the field. And oh, nice catch by Richter. Goes behind his body to catch it just inside the end zone.
Colorado able to gap Stanford once again by 2 points. Here's another look.
Just gets enough of it to keep it up, and he's inside the goal.
I just didn't see it coming. Luckily, I could get my hands in there to get it. Thanks a lot.
Good quick reaction, but you can also chalk that one up as a point for the discipline of knowing where he is on the field and what his thrower is looking for.
Colorado fantastic with their team spatial awareness. There's the pull. Downfield, that's Ben. No, I'm not Peter Frampton's brother, Dean. And he starts the the Stanford O.
Methodically working around. They're still in their spread. Oh, that's a tough catch. Can't quite come up with it, and Colorado's on the sideline.
A turnover by Stanford. It goes to the
Oh,
disc.
that's a great catch. Foreman coming back to the disc, beats his defender, saves the point.
Looking for an out right there. Does he get it? Yes. There you see Gottlieb once again, but it was a strip.
Strip call on the play. All that means is that the defender knocked the disc out of the hands of it. Right there, you can see it come out. Accidental, and it's just coming back in play, stalling 0.
You mentioned the stall. They have a 10 count to get rid of the disc, and they're moving it downfield. Oh, a great poach D by Danny Cox right there, Ben.
Able to turn his back and bait the thrower into putting it up over him, and then he just turns around, finds it, and gets a quick D. That's a huge goal line stop.
Come on, Sexy, get in here.
Turns it over. Stanford on offense once again. A huge huck downfield. Can he get it? Oh, he does.
Just brings it in on the second effort. Got to punch it in, an easy goal. What a huck right off the end zone line.
Sherwood with the assist. He makes a great downfield grab, then dishes it off. Stanford within one once again. Another look.
Look at him, boxes man out, just gets a hand of it, but maintains balance even though the defender makes a second grab.
Well, Dan Maidenberg, the coach of Stanford, could not have drawn it up any better than that. And speaking of coaches, I cannot even imagine what Cat Wilson, Ben, is saying right about now.
Down by 3 always. We still got one to burn, all right? Just walk this in.
Both teams are discussing their strategy before halftime. They have timeouts to use, and Stanford needs to make a run here.
Stanford down by 1. Halftime is at 8 points. So they do indeed. They're telling themselves they've got 3 to go. A great pull right there. Great loft on that. That's going to put Colorado back deep.
Colorado's looking to come out of the spread, open up the middle of the field. Easy pass to Chicken.
Well, you've been in this position before, Ben, as coach and captain of your Oregon team. What are they looking to do?
Well, that's not a bad one. Is find your captain, find your playmaker, and hit him with the disc. Ackley to Kittredge, and it's an easy goal.
Every time Stanford has tried to seize the momentum, Colorado has taken it back. Here we go again.
Just like last year in the march to the semifinals, Colorado relies on Ackley to get them big catches and big throws. He really comes up when they need him.
Bo Kittredge, a couple miscues early on, but certainly atoning for it right now, taking in some much-needed air. And you mentioned the man himself, Josh Richter Ackley, showing why he is one of the candidates for this year's Callahan Award. And, of course, partner, you know about that all too well, being last year's recipient.
Yeah, it's supposed to go to the best player, usually on one of the top teams. It's voted by the peers. It doesn't always go to the best player, as was obviously last year. But probably going to go to somebody pretty good this time.
Well, staying with the spirit of the game mentality, it's also supposed to go to a nice guy. Now, do you think you qualify?
Yeah, I would if you'd keep asking me these stupid questions, Craig.
Easy, partner. All right. Stanford moving the disc downfield quite well, trying to get this score. Look at this.
Here comes this. Oh, just manages to get those last 3 inches on his defender, and that's another big grab downfield. Stanford is crawling back into this game.
Sherwood goes up and skies. Not really a height advantage, only 5'9", but timed it perfectly.
Definitely plyometric work in the offseason is coming to help him.
Well, Stanford's certainly something to cheer about. We've seen Cat Wilson's approach to coaching. Let's take a look at Dan Maidenberg's.
All right, we have to take hard man deep. And what we're going to do is, on the guys closer to the disc, we got to tighten it up, all right? Right now, their guys close to the disc are staying close to the disc. Their guys far from the disc are staying far from the disc, right?
Ready to get into the action? The Ultimate Players Association is the largest ultimate frisbee organization in the world. By joining the UPA, you're automatically subscribed to the sport's official magazine, packed with tons of incredible photos and ways to get the most out of your game. Visit www.upa.org to learn more and find out how to start playing in your community.
I thought I had he's not. Yeah, I know. He's not going to let you go through him, right? Yeah. So you have to go around. You have to separate and come back in. Okay.
Another example of the amazing beauty here in the Pacific Northwest. We are here for the 2004 UPA College Ultimate Championships. Over 300 teams in the nation, Ben, and these are the top 10.
I'd say the biggest surprise in this list is that William and Mary, who came in as a very high seed, couldn't make it out of pre-quarters.
Stanford fourth on that list. Nick Handler talked about why his team is so strong.
The fact that we have a strong team from top to bottom and we can continually put out fresh lines, and that, you know, saves up our, you know, older experienced players for those points that really matter. But throughout the game, we are playing, you know, 23, 24 people the entire time, whereas other teams, they have to put the same guys out there, and we just begin to wear them down.
All right, Ben, now I know nicknames are an important part of Ultimate, but Nick Handler, come on, is that a stage name?
No, it's real. We've checked the birth certificates. He's their Callahan nominee. It's all legit.
Colorado on O, looking to move it downfield.
Oh, just over the reach of the receiver and caught by Julian. Smart play to come in and clean up the trash.
Look at that huck all the way down. Oh, and Kittredge pulls it down for the score. Colorado, based on that effort, will take an 8-6 lead into halftime, and the 6'2" freshman coming up big for the Mama Bird.
Nice throw. Julian, that's a sick throw. Where'd he go? Julian's right behind you, man. Get your water and bring.
I think our spacing is what's key to this game. We keep good spacing. Their short, fast guys can't D us up as well as they'd like to. So on offense, as long as we have lots of space to throw to our tall guys, we'll be in good shape.
Kat, what do you need for the second half?
I think our D needs to improve a little bit. We're giving up hucks that we shouldn't be giving up. We're a little too soft on the mark.
Colorado up. We'll be back with the second half after this. Welcome back to CSTV. Craig Hummer and Ben Wiggins bringing you the action from the 2004 UPA College Ultimate Championships. Some fans of the Mama Bird, and with good reason, Ben. We come back to the second half action. Colorado with a 2-point lead, leading 8-6.
Take control of this game on defense, guys. We've got to start now. I think we get on a run. We're going to start really right? We're going to start rolling.
Yes.
All right. Who's on? Handler, Danny Cox, Zach, Robbie, Brandon, Bronx.
Hey. You heard Maidenberg talk about making defensive runs. Stanford is a team designed to make defensive runs. They use a 3/4, 1/4 mark, which means they put more pressure on easy throws than most teams. That's going to allow them to rack up turnovers in a hurry if they can break into Colorado's confidence. Right now, it's a game of who thinks they can score easily and who thinks it's work. Stanford's going to make it work.
And Ben, you bring Colorado into this equation. Obviously, they have the 2-point lead. What do they do now to close this out?
Well, a 2-point lead is very little at this point because there's so much game left to go, and either team could get on a 3 or 4 point run with no problem.
Get on him, Zach! Zach, get on him!
You hear the vocalization. Stanford with some pressure D at the moment.
Yeah, they're coming out in a zone. They're going to put a cup of 3 or 4 players in front of the thrower and try to make the disc go side to side and take longer to score, try to wear this Colorado offense down.
Well, speaking of zone defense, does that leave them open long? I mean, is that the time for Colorado to huck it?
Just like person-to-person defense, there are different ways of playing the zone. Right now, Stanford has, there's a big over-the-top throw to Bo. He's a big target. As I was saying, Stanford has their biggest guys in the back of the field, and they're trying to bait Colorado into a big, easy throw that they can D up.
Well, it seems like they might have broken through right here. Stanford on a bit of the run, so to speak, on defense. Colorado managing, and here we've got a call. What are they talking about here?
Another travel call. This is, again, excessive steps. Stanford is doing a nice job of resetting the cup and making Colorado go through the teeth of their defense once more. The more times they can do that, the better chance they have of a D.
And this might not be the best way to put it, but on those calls, there's a little bit of a wiggle room, isn't there? I mean, that can be purposeful, can it, to sort of stall the game down a bit?
It's true. Spirit of the game does dominate, but pretty much any movement of the pivot foot is a travel, so there's going to be some calls made and some calls lost.
Chicken Simon dumps it back out to Parker Krug. Krug sets up, another great hammer throw. And Richter toes it in. A great job by the Mama Bird, but it looks like there's some question, Ben. What's up?
Nobody's coming onto the field. Something must have been called. It looks like this disc is going back to Parker, and he's called a travel. You can see as he sets up to throw the hammer, he switches his pivot foot. That's definite travel. It's got to come back.
Wow. the technicality, but as you say, it without a doubt gave him an advantage to complete that throw. So it does indeed come back. No score for the Mama Bird. The score stays 8-6. Crossfield throw right there.
They're still challenging just outside of the end zone. Going into this zone, anytime you get it into the middle of the zone, you give yourself more options. That's what they're doing with Kittredge and Ackley right now.
Kittredge so tall in the center there, giving the Mama Bird so many options, doesn't it?
It does. Unfortunately, he's got happy feet and he gets called for another travel, but he's got a nice throw into space, easy goal. That's how you do it. No travel on the play, good fundamentals.
Well, if you're a Mama Bird fan, you are saying to yourself, justice is served. They get one called back, but they score one anyway.
Oh, I apologize. On that replay, it looks like Bo might have drug his foot even that time. Well, if it didn't get called, it didn't happen, but it's a goal, Colorado.
The freshman to freshman combination, Kittredge to Dahl. Stanford with a chance to answer.
Looking a little stalled at the moment. They're having to go to their dump right off the bat. So now they have to go right through the heart of the Colorado defense. Colorado's making them go side to side. They're going to more of a straight up force, try to take away Hucks at the point of attack.
You can see from number 7, Bizarro from Colorado was on the mark there. He was defending. Oh, almost. Sails overhead.
Tough to see, but either Ackley or Kittredge came in to double team and force the offensive player to go up early. Now Colorado can answer and even add to this lead.
Tight, tight, tight.
Kittredge right there, dumps it off. Nice little flick pass. Good backhand there. Back to Gottlieb.
Working around, the handlers are going to try to be patient until they can get a shot downfield.
Handlers very much like the point guards in basketball. They're in charge of running the offense. We just heard patience. Now, is that Cat Wilson asking him just to sort of slow it down a bit?
It's definitely one of the Colorado coaches. They're asking for them to wait for a goal, and there it is. Easy leading pass. The defense got mixed up somewhere. Colorado takes it.
Colin J.V. Gottlieb with another score, and at the moment, Colorado, they came out in the second half, Ben, on fire.
Yeah, that point made two very big things clear. One, Stanford cannot use his own defense against this Colorado team. And two, Colorado is continuing to be patient with the disc. They're going to be tough to stop.
Gotta have some desperation out there on D, guys. Come on.
Dan Maidenberg asking his team to step it up. Bloodthirsty definitely needs to be out for blood. They're falling behind. We'll be back with more right after this.
Need to get into that defensive rhythm. Need to get into
Welcome back to the 2004 UPA College Ultimate Championships. Some of the Mama Bird faithful. Now, Ben, are they called the Chicks? I'm not sure. What's their nickname?
Well, they've got a strong group of supporters here. I think they're just going to be identifying themselves by their screams. They've been screaming all weekend.
Well, it certainly helped out the Mama Bird team. Colorado up 10-6, and they, after the halftime, certainly have been dominant.
They sure have. Here Stanford's looking pretty good moving the disc up the field, but they have to get this scored easily and then get back on D.
A chance to score here, and they do. They convert easily in the end zone to close to within 3. A great catch by James Herbert, the senior.
That's more like the Stanford we'd come to expect all weekend. You've got Zach Wyatt starting the point as a deep, coming back into handle, and launching it to a guy in James Herbert who started from the handler position. By mixing it up, they keep the Colorado defenders on their heels, unable to expect where the cuts are going to come from.
Go in here. Go in here.
Yeah, this is my gut check, Stanford. What the hell do you have left? Let's go.
Maidenberg calm and collected. Cat Wilson trying to get a reaction out of his team. He wants them to step up. This is not the time to start losing the lead, that is for sure. Stanford closes to within 3. It's now a chance for Colorado to get on offense and answer with a point.
Well, it's big gut check time here for Colorado. Several times to the championships in the last few years, they've been felled by an offense that couldn't produce when it really counted because they got tight. And they're not tight now. They're going right to the end zone.
Can you say flow? Oh, my lordy lord. Kittredge comes down once again after skying over the defender.
great look deep for a great match. Even though he had the big Brandon Hyde on him, Kittredge has a couple inches and he's able to extend with the left hand and bring it down in the end zone.
Keep in mind, Kittredge is only a freshman, and these are some of his moves.
Oh, that's so hard to stop. We're all just going to have to get bigger if we're going to match this kid.
Oh, well, got lucky. It just so happened that it landed in my hands. And it's a good throw. It's all Parker. Parker throws me this, I catch it. That's just my job. And that's it.
That's how you're supposed to train him.
Well, Ben, his modesty is a small part of the overall attitude that makes Ultimate unique. It's called Spirit of the Game.
Spirit of the game is respecting your opponent.
I think it's really about respect. Respect for yourself and respect for your opponent. I mean, you don't want to win a game on a questionable call.
To me, it means making the right calls, not deceiving your opponent.
You know, self-officiating and trying to not cheat to get the upper hand, but really just outplay the other team, keep the sport pure.
A victory where you don't show respect for the game and for the person who's out there battling against you doesn't really mean anything to me.
The best part about Spirit of the Game is when people realize they take a step back, they take a breath, and they decide it's all about just about honesty.
I'm sorry. He's yelling at us, Jacob. He's yelling at us. Fine.
I apologize. I'm sorry for bad spirit.
It just encourages a sense of community among players and prevents what otherwise could lead to a lot of conflicts between teams.
Having a general love for the game, having fun, and not being disrespectful to your opponent.
Playing with a high level of integrity and having respect for your opponents and your team, no matter what level you're playing at.
If your opponent makes good play, then no calls need to be made.
Do it, danger!
A victory over an opponent who you don't respect at all isn't really worthwhile a victory.
It's respect.
All right, Ben, I don't want to make this a debate more than it has to be. That all sounds great in a soundbite, but come on, we're in a competition. Both of these teams want to win. Is this really how it's played?
You're absolutely right, Craig. Get more competitive. There's even more incentive to make calls for yourself, but you're going to see these teams do a great job of when it matters the most, they still police themselves. It's what makes this game possible.
Well, it is often said that spirit of the game is what makes Ultimate, and it's one of the reasons why many people play it. And right now, we've got a discussion going on.
Yeah, it looks like a foul. The defender has agreed, so it's coming in on 0. It's a restart from the brick mark. Short little hammer over the top. Not really going anywhere right now, but Stanford's going to have to find a way to beat this Colorado zone. Now they're into space.
They've got that separation, don't they? Oh, and what a catch. James Herbert once again comes down with it. Stanford needed that point, didn't they?
Separation is exactly right. Once they got past the cup, they were able to continue to attack and really go at that defense.
Well, an absolutely necessary point for Bloodthirsty. They narrow the gap. They are down 11-8. We'll be back with more action after this. Welcome back to the 2004 UPA College Ultimate Championship semifinal match between Stanford and Colorado. While we were away, not only was Colorado able to make a quick strike and score, but they also now have possession of the disc, and they're looking for more.
Oh, and they don't have possession for very long. First pass, Nick Handler's able to pick it off on a deep in-cut.
Stanford trying to react the best. Get it downfield.
Herbert launches one. He does have a man there. A big break mark blade. That's a tough throw from James Herbert, but he knows he needs something to get him back in it.
Now, Ben, some people might say that was a lucky throw.
Well, difficult, yes. Lucky, no. You can see that Wiseman keeps his cut active around the back, and he knows his teammate. He knows he has that throw. Maybe not exactly what they wanted, but a good job of Wiseman keeping active in the back of the stack.
Stanford once again with a much-needed point. Now they have to come up on D and close down on this solid Colorado offense.
Colorado came out in a big ISO, trying to move most of the defenders out of the way, but it didn't work because Stanford's in a zone right now. They're going to make Colorado play a team game.
One of the great things about Ultimate is that it is so vocal. You can hear between the teammates and the coaches now what's going on right here. What's happened?
Well, it's crucial that the sideline tells Dahl that he has a foul called so that he doesn't throw it away on a pass that won't matter anyway. So foul's called downfield, coming in at Julian.
Colorado very close to that 15-point total. That is what the games are to. You must win by 2 as well.
Swinging it around, they get behind the cup to Bo. Now kind of stalled. Stanford's going to make him come through that zone again. Again, Bo with the travel.
Those happy feet have cost him a number of times today, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, luckily none of them have gone for turnovers for his sake, but he's really going to need to watch that. If that calls back a goal, he's going to be pretty disappointed.
Couple quick dumps for Colorado.
And an over the top. Oh, there is a person there. Lucky for Parker that Richter saved his bacon again.
Buckingham with the disc, looking for some room, and overhand all the way across the field to Krug. Oh, Krug went for the flick. Oh, and once again, there's Kittredge. How is he able to find the open spot?
Well, with Stanford in his own defense, they're guarding basically positions downfield, but you got to give a lot of credit to Kittredge here. He's finding spots downfield, and as inexperienced as he looks with the disc, he's good without it.
It's playing out to be a sad song for Stanford. Can they come back? Welcome back to the 2004 UPA College Ultimate Championship semifinal match between Stanford and Colorado. Craig Hummer along with Ben Wiggins. The crowd has been into it all day, Ben, especially if you are a Mama Bird fan. Colorado leads by 4. They are only 2 points away from taking this match. They went into halftime with a 2-point lead, and since then, they've really been in control.
They've been able to stop the Hucks at the point of attack, which has really limited the Stanford offense. It's exactly what Cat talked about doing at halftime, and his players have performed.
Cat Wilson, the coach of Colorado, very animated. He gets his players ready for every match, and that was a missed throw right there. Stanford unable to grab it, so on the turnover, Colorado with a chance to be within 1 and take this match.
They're going to take a couple deep breaths here and try to go right into the middle of the defense as they're in a spread formation. If JV can get this throw off, you're going to see some motion downfield. He's going to go for a dump right here.
The dump back to JV, as you said. They're just trying to create opportunities, aren't they, by doing that?
Yeah, and Stanford's not really forcing them to go deep. They want to keep the players in front of them and try to run by them on one of those in cuts. But right now, Colorado's being patient and only taking very open throws.
JV once again. The force is definitely on by Stanford, but right there you see Keith Hunsinger, also known as Bizarro.
Oh, you can see the defense is starting to wear down now. They're not moving their feet as much on the marks. At this point in the game, this point in the tournament, you really start to feel those legs.
Kittredge went out of bounds. Momentum took him out of bounds. What does he do now as he brings it in?
Oh, he's allowed to come back and put a pivot foot right inside the line, but right there he came back in a couple yards. That's a no-no.
Stanford thought one of their strengths would be their legs late in the game, but it looks to be almost a disadvantage right now. Colorado just really controlling the tempo.
They've had a couple injuries, which have definitely pared down their rotation, but there's something about training at 5,000 feet that must be helping Colorado right now.
Nice dish off by Rabbit right there. JV puts it into the center to Rabbit again. They're getting close. See that end zone. Do they do it?
They do. Once again, the out when they get to a high stall count is Kittredge. He finds a way to get away from his person 2 good spaces, and they're able to throw it right in stride.
The Mama Bird faithful, ecstatic on the sidelines. Another look at that great catch by Kittredge.
I guarantee none of these Stanford players are looking at the score right now. All they know is that they've come back from bigger deficits before. They can do it again. They just need to get on a run. This thing is not over unless you're a Colorado fan.
Chicken Simon getting ready to pull. Nice outside in action on the disc.
Stanford definitely wants to call a play here for their best player. This is when you need him. This is when you want to rely. No trickery.
And in this game, those best players have been number 26, Zach Wyatt, and number 21, James Herbert.
They got to step up right now. They don't want to put this on some rookie's shoulders. This is their time to make a play.
Brandon Hyde sets it up perfectly for Robbie Cahill, the sophomore.
That's a good put. He got behind his defender and created some space. A relatively easy look in this game.
You were a bit like Nostradamus right there. You said Stanford just had to focus on the point. That's what they did.
They're going to take this again. They're probably going to call a very similar line because they're right down to it, and they need their best players on. That'll include Hyde, that'll include James, that'll include Zach, I'm sure.
We have still 2 timeouts this half, right?
Maidenberg getting them ready. A daunting task. 14-10 the score. Colorado knows they've got some to play with, but at this point, if you're Stanford, you have to go for broke, don't you?
Yeah, they have to sell out on this point and pretty much try to influence the confidence of Colorado. Not only score this D point, but set them up for several more. Colorado, on the other hand, needs to be aggressive. They've got a bunch of shots at this. Don't get tentative with the disc.
Robbie Cahill on the mark. He's defending. He just scored that point for Stanford. It's going long. Can he get under it? Oh, look. That's it. That is the game.
Ackley found a way to get behind his guy, even maybe stole that from Kittredge, but a good look from the freshman deep, and that's the same Colorado offense we've been seeing all game. They really did a nice job of staying with their game plan no matter what Stanford threw at them.
A great huck, almost 3/4 of the length of the field, and perfectly placed. Richter just pulls it in, and the celebration begins for Mama Bird. Colorado advances to the UPA championship match where they will take on the winner of the Cal Berkeley Brown match, which we will see later on CSTV.
Yeah, one of the keys to the game, as we definitely saw, is that the big players on Colorado were able to eliminate some of their mistakes with some hustle plays and big grabs, and Stanford's small mistakes were glaring. Stanford's had a great season, though, and while they're disappointed here, they should be proud of what they've done.
Colorado had so many weapons to choose from. One of them was Callahan Award nominee Josh Ackley.
Well, we didn't really have to make any adjustments. We just had to play our game. I think early we just had a couple really miscommunication point, and that was the problem. They obviously had the disc first, so they scored the first point, and we knew that in the end, if we just ran hard, we were going to get the Ds that it took to win this game.
He's absolutely right. They got the turns they needed. What was really impressive is how they put those in the goal just by cool, calm offense.
On the Stanford side, a great year ends in disappointment.
Colorado's a great team. We knew that coming in. We knew, Nationals is a real deal. There's not going to be a single easy game at Nationals. That's just how it goes. Every game's a battle, and we knew it was going to be a battle coming in.
Without a doubt, Mama Bird, happy that they are advancing. They came into this tournament as the number 2 seed. They went up against the number 3 seed in Stanford in the semifinal. 2 of the great teams in this 16-team field. It was a battle all along, and it's Mama Bird that advances. For more information on the Ultimate Players Association, go to www.upa.org and log on to collegesports.com, the ultimate destination for scores, news, highlights, and analysis. This has been a presentation of CSTV, College Sports Television, #1 in college sports. For Ben Wiggins, I'm Craig Hummer. So long from the Pacific Northwest, everybody.